pray you avoid it. Your job is to hold the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, and scorn her own image, in the very age and body of the time, his form and pressure. Now this or done, or come tardy of, though it make the unskillful laugh, cannot but make the judicious grieve. The censure of the one which must in your allowance o'erweigh a whole theatre of others. And let those that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them. Go, make you ready. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Questions? Yes?
Are there any,
What comments?
anybody working with women inmates?
That's a great question. You know, I got the funding to do it with this journeyman program, but they weren't ready for it. They felt that because the women's prison is sort of a classification center, they're not there for a long period of time, the one that's close to us. So they felt that they couldn't commit to the program, but my goal is to start probably a playwriting. We've done some playwriting work at the women's prison, incorporated with Shakespeare. I just started the Home of the Innocents program as boys and girls, but our goal is this time, next year at this time, that we'll be doing 2 new juvenile all-girl programs. So next year, but not the adult women yet. So yeah.
Just to say that Art Spot Productions, Kathy Randalls, actually does this at St. Gabriel's.
Oh wow.
Here in Louisiana, and she's been doing it for, I guess now about 8 years, 9 years. She and what's her name? A dancer from I just can't remember her name right now, but they've been doing this at St. Gabriel's.
Oh wow. In our program, it didn't start as a theater program, but it started. It was books behind bars, and then they just started reading it out loud in the first year, and that's kind of how our program was born.
I'm counselor, substance abuse counselor for 2 states,
Uh-huh.
Indiana and Missouri.
Okay.
So for the art, I started that one, and the music, every Friday they have the night for music. They are such a good writer, and the artist is fabulous. And then I started some sort of, what I should say, some yoga type of thing, meditation, and they love it. It was my brainchild, now they are nurturing this one, that meditation. And there are so many, when I first started this one, there are 32 in my first class, and after that, everybody was crying that we did not feel that kind of peace in mind for the last 10, 12, like this year. And it was wonderful. But you know, in prison there are so many rules. If I could put them on the floor, that would be more, successful one. But when they were sitting on the chair, they couldn't connect. I think there's something to me. That's when you are on that like yoga type of thing and do the meditation, maybe you get more peace or like that. It was really nice.
We meet in the chapel,
So
and it's really fitting that this work. It's fitting that we're in the chapel.
So when you are telling every single thing, I'm not here. I was
Brings you back.
Yes.
That's cool.
This is really nice.
Yes.
What sort of technology do you have to facilitate what you're doing? Like, do you have PowerPoint? Are you able to do that sort of thing? I'm guessing no.
No, I just bring in a bag and a book. Really is. No, we really don't, and it's just nothing's permitted.
Yes, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, I was just wondering, when you do drama, it's often very cathartic. So I wonder how you handle that. I mean, what kind of training do you have? I mean, are you trained as a psychologist?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Yeah, and it is very much like a support group, though, and the guys do a lot of mentoring each other. But yeah,
Yeah, I noticed
definitely.
that in one of the scenes.
And I'll never ask them to share something. If they choose to share something, it's always there's never that invasion.
But it must come out sometimes.
It does.
Yeah, it must. It must
Absolutely.
come out frequently.
Julie Bartow, who co-founded this with Kurt Tofflin, is a psychologist, just me and the guys, and they do a lot of self-coaching.
I have another experience I'd like to share with you. That I encourage them to write their, biography. So one inmate, he was in prison for 37 years, and when he was in, he was juvenile. So he wrote 400 pages, his biography, and all of those slangs. And when I first read it, I said, no, I cannot do that because this is so, I came from different culture and that, word they're using. And he said that, Miss Mustafa, if you want to understand me, you have to understand this language. This is the way I just grew up. So you have to accept me the way I am.
That's great.
You know?
We just had the boys were permitted to write a question to ask the inmate. And then once we got it cleared and I brought it out to prison, I said, guys, I want you to just read this list of questions. And if there's one that connects to you, if you could talk to yourself when you were 17, what would you say? But they want to make it perfect. And I say, guys, I just want you to talk like you're talking to a 17-year-old. And I don't want correct grammar, and I don't want complete sentences. And just, if you're talking to yourself, it's that same thing, just from the gut,
I had a wonderful time at that time when I was working over there. It was beautiful.
Which I've been showing that the documentary for a few years now, and after reading The Tempest, and it always goes down really well, and I love it. And one of the most kind of fascinating aspects, and you brought this up, is to see the inmates kind of connect with the themes of the play, in this case The Tempest, right, with the documentary, and then to kind of apply that to their own lives. And it works really well with The Tempest, of course, as they point out. It's on an island, and you've got an authority figure who controls everybody on the island. So it's very analogous to a prison situation. So I guess my question was, what other plays that you've done work as well in that way?
Usually I have an idea of why I'm choosing it, and I won't necessarily tell them why, but if I just feel, and Kurt chose The Tempest that year because we had a lot of veterans who might be leaving, and a lot of different reasons. The Merchant of Venice was amazing, and the connections they made in the trial scene. And this was at a time when the climate was pretty uneasy. We had a prison riot at North Point where they burned the prison, and it made national news, and a lot of tensions, and with this idea of wanting revenge, and that was pretty intense exploration. My very first year, I chose Macbeth, and I originally just picked it because the Shakespeare Festival was doing it as well, so we were going to have this partnership, and that turned out to be a really intense first choice. When you're coaching a guy who's taken a life, and he's playing Macbeth, and so there was a great learning curve there. But and we're doing Richard III right now.
Okay.
And there's always something. It's just that's why it's so universal.
It's just so rich. There's always something to connect with. It's funny that you said Merchant of Venice, though. I teach that regularly in my freshman English classes, and I just found that the themes of the play just lend themselves really well to the students' lives and their experiences. And I always kind of preface it by saying that this is at least since the economic crash in 2008, I said this is a play about kind of what happens when money is tight, and how groups become kind of clannish in their behavior and turn against each other, that in better times might be more kind of forgiving towards each other.
This psychiatric center for boys that I started 2 weeks ago, this residency, and that's the very first piece of text that I chose was a choral reading of If You Prick Us, Do We Not Bleed, and saying, how many people have experienced prejudging prejudice, okay? Look, our skin may be different color, or we may look that it would look different. If you prick us, we're gonna bleed, and it's just the connections right away. They owned it. Oh yeah, I've been treated differently, and juicy play.
Yeah.
And next year I want to do a comedy. We haven't done, I know that's a comedy, but
Yeah.
something that we might, I'm looking at, and there's always something rich, even in its comedies, that I think they'll connect with.
Is it hard to get them? I saw a little bit of that tension in the documentary. but is it hard to get them sometimes? I'm assuming the culture is quite a macho one. Is it hard to get them to play female parts or play younger parts, show a tender side?
The Juliet we had was one of the toughest guys in the yard, and he was a former skinhead who had reformed his ways. He's tattooed head to toe. And he came in, it was his second year, and he said he wanted to play Juliet. And I found it interesting that he said, usually it's, well, this connects to my life, I want to do this. He said, I want to play Juliet because of what I can't connect to. You talk about a transformation.
Wow.
Stunning Juliet and truthful, and he's also Lady Anne in, here he's played another one in Richard III.
Wow.
So sometimes though, the guys who play, they end up playing a woman because nobody else would take it. You know? But we don't do full drag, so we'll put something that just represents their headpiece, or they always wear their khakis underneath, and we just do overlay costumes. But Big G from the documentary was the nurse in Romeo and Juliet last year, just a hulking nurse, and it just worked. And he's playing Richard III right now.
Oh,
So there are a
great.
couple of the documentary guys are still there.
Right.
So,
What kind of journaling do you have? You said they do a lot of journaling?
the students
How do you get them to kind of, how do you
get them to write more than
teach
one
them-
sentence.
Yeah, how do you teach them to kind of respond in the way you want?
Right. That's why I have some help from my playwright. So we'll do the writing workshop early in the process, and that's a challenge, is getting them to write about their discoveries. They're so short. So how? Why? You know. But
I mean, do you give them some feedback at first?
with the playwright,
No, okay.
and we'll keep their journals and I'll kind of look at them to see if there's something that I can encourage to expand. But usually, right after they've written it, I'll give it back to them and say, well, could you shoot? But it's difficult to get them to write about it. They don't have the writing skills, the reflection skills. So
Yeah.
we do find it's kind of interesting as we're trying to measure the progress that I'll take a vocabulary word that they should know and update on their age, and I'll have them use it in a sentence how they think they would use it before the residency starts, and then I'll do that again with a different word at the end, and we can see some differences in the writing. They're small, and they're not always, but we can see it. You know, their longer sentences are more descriptive.
Well, we should probably, I know Olivia's got the social hour set up for anybody who's interested.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, but, thank you. And we're down in the conference room, if anybody's heading down that way.